My mom is so funny. I sent her this picture. It's a private photo.
She posted it?
She posted it.
You look amazing.
That is the most mom thing.
She's
I know.
like, Rachel's about to film.
You're like, Mom, don't get in my head. I'm already in my head.
So funny. She's like, my daughter.
Oh, she's so proud.
She is. I know.
If only she knew.
Well,
only she knew.
She actually does know.
That's true.
Yeah.
She actually does know.
So your mom is in business with you.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So my mom, Virginia, she started our company in 2000 initially with permanent cosmetics, permanent makeup, and she just evolved it over the years, evolving with other aesthetic procedures. She was the first in many areas. And then in 2012, I came to help her. So 12 years after she started everything. And by that time, it was pretty much a thriving business. But I helped come in and start adding, that medical component. So yeah, it's been cool.
What did the business look like before? You said she was the first to do what?
Sure. So she was like the first to do like popular procedures we know now, like microneedling. Mm-hmm. Back in the day when people didn't really know what microneedling was, my mom was pioneering in that area. Also with like dermaplaning. Dermaplaning was, people didn't even know about it. Now, it's everywhere. But yeah, so I would say she was like a first in those two areas. And one of the first to bring laser hair removal, to where we are, West County, St. Louis, greater St. Louis area. So yeah, she was the first.
That's amazing.
Let's back up a little bit now.
Yeah.
Who are you and what is the business that you're running now that we know about your mother?
Yeah. So my name is Rachel Schulte, and I co-own and operate Laser Me Aesthetics and Wellness. So as we have evolved over the years, so have our services. So to make it clear, because Laser Me, people are like, Laser Me, we're more than laser, but so that's where that aesthetics and wellness piece comes in. But yeah, Laser Me Aesthetics and Wellness.
And what started your mother to even go down that route?
I think what started her going down that route was her passion for always wanting to be youthful and take care of herself. And I think she did it at the right time. It was when it was still kind of like a pioneering type thing to go into the aesthetics industry. When she was getting into it, it was like people were just starting to understand the word botox, right? Mm-hmm. I was watching Sex and the City not that long ago, like some of those first episodes, and just kind of watching like the things they were bringing in. And when I watched like the first Sex and the City movie, like they were like botox.
Yeah.
Samantha's like running to go get her Botox, and apparently Botox was supposed to fix everything. And now we know that's not true. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
can't fix a
your mom
personality.
was ahead of the curve. I mean, it's 2023 now, so it's
Yeah.
all about like women empowerment, and feminism. It's like 2000. She was already her own, entrepreneur and running her own business. So.
Yeah. I mean, and I would say, and she started it from like a 1-room facility. She did it the hard way, which I don't think there's any way to really start your own small business and it be an easy way. I think we all wish it could be easy or easier.
Yeah, red tape everywhere.
Yeah. Somebody tells you starting a business is easy, they're lying to you.
Yeah, they're absolutely lying. There's nothing easy about starting a business.
And you should run away
Yeah.
from that person.
Go buy a new business. That's what, Grant says that all the time. Don't
Yeah.
start your own business. There are plenty out there to buy.
So many to buy. Mm-hmm. I had a rep in the other day who she was like, I think I'm going to start my own medical spa. And I was like, girl, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's an expensive business to be in. Mm-hmm. I would not recommend anyone start a medical spa from scratch. No.
What hurdles did you run into that you think would be the biggest issues to do that today?
The oversaturation of the market at this point. And like everything in the United States of America right now, prices keep going up. Yet consumers expect, a deal because of the oversaturation of the market. And then just from an employee standpoint, employees, they need to be paid well. So it's like a balancing act if you're coming into the aesthetics business. Now, if you were in it like way back when and you built up like a steady clientele, I think it's great. So if you could buy an existing practice, that would be a smart move. You know, obviously a successful existing practice. But if those aren't the scenarios, find another dream,
Yeah.
or it will become your nightmare.
Well, you and I were talking last night that even a lot of facilities are diluting their Botox because they have to make it with, you know, you're competing against what, 10, 12, 14, $15 units.
That was like really interesting when you were sharing that with me. To be honest, that was like a foreign idea, just because I feel like that's incredibly dishonest.
Agreed.
And, you know, being in our industry, like any industry, you know, it's about relationship building. You are building something with someone, and part of any relationship is trust. So if somebody's like diluting a product, you're basically lying to your patient. I think that's wrong. Obviously, I would think there are some legal components to that, but ethically, very wrong.
People like me wouldn't know. You know, I go into a facility and they say, oh, well, it was $15 a unit, but now Botox is $10 a unit. And they're like, but we're going to dilute it 20%. And I'm like, okay, well, I said, what's the ratio?
I can't believe they shared that with you.
So tell that story, because I don't know.
Yeah.
It was I went to a facility in Arizona, and I was asking them about because somebody had said, you need to ask them about the diluting. Why is it so affordable? And I was like, well, diluting, okay, I guess that's a normal thing.
So like, what was affordable?
Yeah, I guess at the time, maybe it was $15 a unit.
That is not affordable.
But they were doing a deal. I think it was like $10 a unit.
Okay.
That brings up like a conspiracy of why are things half off? Are they giving me half the product?
That's exactly what happened. So my girlfriend at the time was like, you need to ask them if they're diluting the Botox. So I asked, I said, are you guys diluting? And they sure enough shared, we diluted at whatever the percentage was. So she said something about the ratio and diluting it helps your body absorb it. Or who the frick knows? But that explained why the Botox was discounted.
Interesting.
Right?
Now, I would say, like, for members, like, we will discount the product down to something as low as $10 a unit, but we take the hit.
Right.
You know, we're not like doing something secret in the back room. Right. Now, like, all our nursing staff that dilutes the Botox or Juvo or Dysport, whatever it happens to be, they have no motive to do anything but to ethically do their job, and I would expect them to do that. There wouldn't be any reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah, normal business would run their business properly and not cheat people, because your best customers are reoccurring customers.
Yes.
And like you said, building trust. So wouldn't they want top results so they come back?
Well, they even mix it in front of you. So they take their vial and then they put it in a saline. So for people like me who just didn't know, I think it was one of the first times I ever did Botox.
Are you sure you weren't at like a cheesecake factory where they make desserts in front of you?
It was a legit medical spa. I think you were with me. Were you with me the first time? No. Anyway, clearly I don't do it anymore.
But like you didn't want to go back.
Well, yeah, I didn't live there anyway. And then it went away. And they were like, you need to go back and get, do you guys offer that 5-unit thing? Like after a week, if you don't notice it, you go back and get 5 units. No. Have you heard of that? Probably because you're doing it right.
Right.
Did ours not take? That's because it's not really Botox.
We do a 2-week checkup to make sure that if you need more, you can come get more.
But you pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do that there. This was, they
pay for it.
They give you a complimentary 5 units if you need it.
Very interesting.
This was also 5 years ago, maybe.
It's just interesting to hear about the practice of other, you know,
That's what people say, like, for any part of any industry, where people are like, that doesn't happen. It's like,
no, it happens.
There's shitty people in every industry. Something's happening.
And I kept telling them, I said, I don't know what's going on. It's just not setting. And I kept going and getting more and more and more. And they said, well, maybe you're having a high, your metabolism is high.
So that happened to me. I will say that. Now I like Botox stopped working on me.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying.
What?
It was so awful.
So what's the move now? The threading?
So no, Juvo.
Yeah, she's told me about
What
Juvo.
is Juvo?
So Juvo is it's a neurotoxin, but it's made in Korea. So it's been
They have good skin in Korea.
They
I'm
do.
telling you,
They do. They've got it down. Anybody says like South Korean skincare and you're like, what?
Hello Kitty.
Right?
That's Japan, but okay.
What is it?
Hello Kitty, it's Japanese.
But yeah, like the neurotoxin Juvo, it worked for me, which I'm so grateful. Doing anything in my industry, you know, I feel like I'm under some amount of scrutiny in terms of my appearance.
1,000%. People look, you are a walking business card. So they want to see what you look like to determine if you're going to be good or not.
Yeah.
I do it.
It makes sense. You
It
don't
does.
get a fat personal trainer to say get me in shape.
I mean, do you want to go get injections from some woman that looks like Joan Rivers or,
No.
you know, like
Yeah.
lips out the balloons?
Isn't she dead?
It's dark.
Joan. Hello?
But I bet her face looks great in her casket.
Her face has not moved since the day she died.
It might not have actually with everything she put in there, but Joan, I'm sorry.
They're going to open that coffin in 400 years and she's still going to be perfect.
You know, it was preserved. They, you know, all the fillers that they said dissolved in 18 months. They found out that's just not the case.
Right. Look, sprinkle in a little adrenochrome. And
Well, I had actually, when I was talking to Rachel originally, we met at a Grant Cardone event.
Yeah.
And we were talking, I was telling her at the time I wasn't doing Botox anymore. And she's like,
what started this introduction? Did you walk up and say, I love your face?
how did we start that? Was it?
I feel like
Was it
we
the
saw
sales
each other,
workshop?
but then we went to Bar Taco. And then we
That's where
sat
you guys
together
met?
and we got to really talk at Bar Taco. And that's when I was like, oh, I love her.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
we
I love
were-
Bar Taco.
Were we paired in the sales workshop together? Didn't Dave pair us together for something? And we had to come up front. We both were brought to the front of the room.
I
and
remember being brought
role-played.
to the front.
Yeah, you didn't cry. I did.
Did you cry?
Almost, remember?
I felt like I was going to get molested.
I did too, actually. I was
I
like,
hope he hears that.
I was going to say, is this directed to Dave?
Oh, Dave, do you remember that?
I did a wonderful ceremonial retreat during ayahuasca, and I was
Oh, yeah.
purging my Botox. And this message from spirits or what my subconscious whatever was that I need to chill out on the Botox.
Okay.
And this was, I think, right during COVID. And I found a woman in Miami that I was going to. She was doing it out of her house. She had a nursing thing and
Okay.
didn't wear gloves. She would just poke my
I've got
face.
so many issues with that, but keep going. Sorry.
You would die if I told you everything that happened. But she worked with one of our legit clients who had a great, beautiful face. And I was like, okay.
Like a top fitness person who her appearance is her.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
what makes her money.
So I was like,
So
if
it's like,
she's
oh, yeah.
referring her, she's got
She
to
must
be
be
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she shows up and she just like,
This-
I'll come upstairs.
This ranky-dank, homeless-looking guy shows up at the front door with a bottle of Botox and a Ziploc bag with ice and hands it to her. She's like, I'm a nurse. I stopped nursing. Anyway, whole story behind that. And it should have been a red flag right there, but I kept staying.
I'm like closing my mouth.
I know. And then she didn't wear gloves. I was bleeding because and she just started poking like randomly on my face. And so I'd go back again and say,
you're skipping the best part.
which part?
You decided before you realized her style, you were like, can you do the lips?
Oh no, I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't even gotten to that point yet.
Oh, they look good.
So anyway, I went to her. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I was like, okay, it's fine. And I had to go back because again, my 11s just didn't take. One time I went, she poked, and my whole right side of my face just went like I felt the nerve go all the way down, and I thought, what the fuck did she just hit? So then at one point, my eyebrows were doing this thing.
There you guys.
Yeah, and so anyway, I was doing it so often because it wasn't setting because maybe she just wasn't the right person.
Now,
but
I will tell you, if you'd been with a qualified professional,
yeah. Nobody was open.
they
during
would not,
COVID.
like a qualified professional isn't going to let you do it too soon because
Yeah.
it can cause you for it to be ineffective.
Paralysis.
That too. But it can cause it to be ineffective. It was ineffective on me.
Yeah.
Dysport became ineffective on me. And it was because my body got used to it. It started metabolizing it. That could have been what you were experiencing,
Yeah.
honestly, if you were doing it that frequently. Because even if they were diluting it, there still should have been some
Hers actually
response
wasn't.
and reaction.
The Arizona
Okay.
one diluted. She didn't dilute.
And then we were good.
I was good. So I went to
Okay.
her. It was
Okay.
working here, but the 11s just didn't take. Sorry, this is probably a very unnecessary story.
It's
but
okay.
the point
all good.
is at one point I was doing so much that I would see these like flashes in my eyes. And then this article came out that was saying that Botox was creating blindness for some people. But I didn't know that at the time
Haven't read that article.
until after we did
It's
ayahuasca.
a good thing I don't really like it that much. Yeah.
It's when you inject it in the eye.
So when we had done ayahuasca and I was purging, it was the message was you have to be careful. You're doing it so much you could go blind. And then we got home, we saw this thing on the news about people going blind with. And I was like,
huge.
what the hell?
Wow.
So, but before that, to back up a little bit more, I was having, even when you start to age, you get these little lines on your lips.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've heard Botox will kind of give you a little lip flip.
Yeah.
So I was like, what about? I asked her
Yeah,
about
a
it.
little lip flip.
And she was like, oh, you could try a little filler.
We do them all the time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's like, try filler.
opposed to just trying the lip filler?
Maybe she didn't know what to do.
Okay.
So she said, I'm just going to give you a test.
Concerned.
I'm going to give you a test because I was like, I don't want lip filler.
Yeah.
I'm like super anti all that stuff. So she did the lip filler, this test tube. I had 4 rocks in my lips. She didn't massage them. She gave me like ice cubes for what, 3
like
months.
Rocks, like pebbles were
You
in her
could
lips.
feel the pebbles. No,
She didn't break them up?
no. And
Oh,
then
my.
it was a test. I don't even know. I don't know how much they do, but it was barely anything. I came home.
Bless your heart.
I was like, damn,
That's
girl, you look
awful.
hot.
I looked like I had gotten stung by...
Okay, so did it go down? Did the rocks go down?
The rocks didn't go down. The lips went down, but the rocks were there until it dissolved. And I just thought, I'm done with it.
So you did get it dissolved
No, I let it just
She
go
waited
in.
for
You
it to
waited
dissolve
with your
on its own.
rocks?
Yeah, I had rocks in.
for a year?
It was about 7 months.
They shrank
6
though
months?
within like
6 months.
like 10 days to 2 weeks. They
But you
started
still
shrinking, but she felt
Oh,
like
yeah.
crunchy. She
David
like
could feel it.
Yeah, so
You
it
could
is
feel 'em.
crunchy. I mean, like when you have it injected, you literally want that
Yeah.
professional to
But it
go in.
was
They're gonna
like-
grab you. They're gonna grab your lips
Yeah.
with some gloves, and they're gonna start breaking it up and,
And
working it in
This
because it's
makes
hyaluronic
sense.
acid.
She
Yeah,
wasn't wearing gloves. That's all it was. She
Oh,
was
was
like,
that
I
it?
can't do it.
that was that
I
was
even
the problem.
asked her. I was like, "Do you need to massage him?" 'Cause
Yes,
my girlfriend
she
had
should
done
have.
it.
She should have massaged.
She said, "No, you'll be fine." And then she puts ice on him, so of course it just freezes him right there. It was a thing. So I just thought,
I'm like, are Florida's laws lax
This
on?
is
COVID.
this is Miami. There
Okay.
there are
COVID.
no laws in the apartment in 2020.
Okay.
of
nobody
Miami.
was open. I was desperate. I was addicted to Botox or what I thought I was getting. I don't know. I needed to maybe do have some patience and just go to a legitimate person like you. But just to shout out you.
Yeah.
And hearing how great of a practice you have and how
Thank
legit
you.
you are and how honest you
We
are.
put a lot of effort into making sure that you are with a seasoned professional. So, our head injector, Jenny, she's incredible. I mean, she's been in our industry for well over 20 years. She was an injector trainer for Galderma, which is leading competitor with Allergan. And she's trained under some of the best doctors in the nation, and I would say even the world. And she's a master certified injector. So like, I always have had a very high standard of efficacy when it came to injections. And so it would have been so easy to bring in multiple nurses because I feel like almost every nurse I run into is like, I want to get into that industry. They're sick of the hospitals and they have to put up with a lot. And I appreciate, what they do in their industry, but they look at our industry and like, that looks like a happy industry, but it's still an industry that takes a lot of skill and experience and training. I honestly feel that there should be a lot more laws in terms of the hours that are required for a medical professional to be able to perform these procedures. I feel like states should crack down on where those procedures can be performed. And we have a lot of that in our state where we have all these nurses that barely get any training and they're offering these practices in their home. And it just absolutely freaks me out. And I probably won't go into it too much because
You should go into it. I think
Tell
people should
some
hear.
horror stories.
Yeah,
What's
tell-
the worst you've heard?
Besides my story. Just kidding.
Yours is pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. Yours is pretty bad. But I think if people actually understood how dangerous it is to get dermal fillers and injections, your face is incredibly vascular. I mean, you can have occlusions where your flesh literally starts dying off. That can easily happen in lips. So I'm really glad you're okay.
Well, I mean, these stories you hear about someone going blind, clearly it happened to somebody. So there are
Yes.
horror stories.
So like with Botox and like something like that, that's obviously, a concern. But, I'm just more or less referring to like actual dermal fillers where it's like, even if you have somebody who's really good, their stuff can still happen, even if you know everything to do. So then you need the person who knows exactly what to do if something like that should transpire. And it's really important, no matter where you live, whoever's listening to me, saying this right now, is that you need to go to someone who is very good at what they've done. And they've done it for a very long time. And they've got lots of before and after photos to show you. And don't just trust anyone, with your face. I mean, obviously, as I'm saying this, I don't know who's going to be hearing this. I don't know what part of the nation you're going to be in, but it really is your face. And you only get one.
Do your research.
Do your research.
Consult.
Make
Call
sure
people.
make sure you're going to someone who's really trustworthy, and don't look for the deal. You know,
Duh.
don't look for the deal.
Never.
Yeah.
Like when people will call our office. Well, how much is it? Well, how much is it? Listen, you can go to that nurse down the street and you can do whatever you're going to do in her living room or wherever she decided to do the pop-up shop. And it's crazy. In our state, we have like a business right now where like nurses go get like a 2-hour training and then they're out on the street and they're operating under a medical director. And I really struggle with it because I'm not saying there aren't any nurses that are doing it that are good. I'm sure there are some very good qualified nurses, but I have had the pleasure of meeting some that there ain't no way that they should be doing it. And it really bothers me.
Are these Botox parties? Is this what you know, people do?
I think some of it might be
Wait.
with that.
What is a Botox party?
A Botox
I mean,
party.
and I just had a Botox party the other day. I threw a big brunch event, but we set up like a private room area. We made sure we had absolutely everything. You know, we have an overseeing physician. You know, there wasn't anything that's like not up to code by the book.
In your facility.
You're running it like
It
a
wasn't.
business.
It wasn't in my facility. I threw it at a different location. It was the first time I ever did anything like that. But you know, I don't even know if I'll do it again. It was
Did you
like a
do it
one-time thing.
Under the umbrella of Laser Me,
Oh yeah.
which is insured,
Oh yeah.
which is legitimate.
Yes.
Versus somebody who's like,
1,000%.
I'm a nurse. I know the nervous system. I'm just going to poke around in here.
Yes.
You got it. You're
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Yes.
To go back on your deal thing, as we spoke about earlier, cheap work ain't good, and
good work ain't cheap.
It's
right.
so true.
It's true.
But
It's true, and it's important.
Botox gets to be expensive, you know, as the more units you do, and people, it's adding up. And at
Yes.
15 or I don't know what the average
Yeah,
is now.
15 is like honestly like a good number. I was just talking to a young woman the other day who just she's one of my account managers for a company that I work with, and she was from Boston. She said that like average is like 20 a unit, like in Boston. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
isn't that high?
That's very high.
Because you think women get 35 units is a pretty average number, or what? What do
You know,
people-
it just really depends on the person. It really does. Like, I mean, you could have a young person that wants to throw a lip flip in there and some other things, and they're going to need over 50 units. I mean, it just totally
Right.
depends on what.
So at $20
Someone
a unit,
needs.
it adds up, which is why people are trying to find the deals. Or now they're
Right.
doing rewards programs with
Yeah,
Botox. Explain that.
There
What is
are
that?
tons of reward programs. I really like, not to bring it back to Jeuveau, but I love Evolus is the company that owns Jeuveau, and I love it. They give the patient $40 off, and then I also love it because the more we're able to order with Evolus, it drives down the price, and so then we pass those savings along to our members. Because I really want it to be affordable, because I do believe it's a really good preventative done the proper and correct way. I love neurotoxins. I really do. I don't want to live without them.
Why Jeuveau versus Dysport? Explain the difference between like a Botox and...
And I think Dysport's great, but Dysport's an interesting animal. Like where it is injected, it spreads. And where it spreads is a little like, you know, it's not fully predictable. It's like, oh, I'm going to go over here this time. We're gonna go
It's like a
there.
COVID vaccine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where's it going to go?
I guess it's like any vaccine.
Yeah, true.
No, but with Jeuveau and with Botox, when it's injected, as it should be, it where you put it is where it goes. And so personal preference, like a product that you know where it's going. And I used to be a big proponent of Dysport, but I mean, for me personally, I ran from Botox and Dysport, not totally by choice. It was just they stopped working for me, and Jeuveau works. So, you know, I love it.
Good.
I
What-
love it.
For the, I guess, average listener out there who doesn't know this industry, what does Botox do when you inject it?
It's a thing that goes in your face and freezes it. It paralyzes the muscle.
Oh,
Yeah.
what if someone's scared that that's bad for you?
I mean, I think the only reason somebody would be scared is like maybe the things that we were discussing earlier, right?
Yeah.
With, I mean, blindness is scary.
It took
Exactly.
me, what, like a year and a half for the eyebrow to finally... I mean, you couldn't even touch right here.
so
you would touch here and it
sorry.
would go in my
You
ear.
need to
just
apologize.
hate-
You didn't create it.
No, I just hate that someone it's kind of like when we were talking about like how can people hurt animals. It is just beyond me how someone could like profit off of.
It's also not their fault. I have to take some ownership here because
Are you sure it wasn't her fault? She wasn't a qualified professional who was selling something that she should have never been selling.
What do you do with women and men that come in and they start getting a little excessive? Do you continue to give them whatever they want?
Absolutely not. We say no.
How do you address that with somebody?
No.
Yeah.
Well,
also it makes your work look bad, right?
Right.
Well, yeah. So, I think any real professional sets boundaries, right? Otherwise, you don't qualify as a professional. So, I always tell my staff, like, I will never put you in a position to be uncomfortable. If there's something you are not comfortable doing, you do not have to do it. I will never encourage you or make you do anything. So if you have somebody that's coming in and they're like, I want 4 syringes of, filler in my lips, we will say no to you. And if you find the person that's willing to do it, well, good luck. But that's just not going to be us.
What's
just
an average application in your lips?
So, it depends on the person, but really like a syringe of filler, it's not that much. It's like half a teaspoon, basically. So when somebody says a syringe, it's like not an absorbent, I can't talk, it's not a lot.
It's all good.
So basically, when you're getting it done, I would say like the average is going to be like 1 syringe initially. And if someone just wants to have like a more hydrated look, you can go less than that. Somebody can purchase a syringe, do half of it and come back later and do more. You're not obligated to, do anything. You don't have to use the whole syringe. But I thought that I was just going to do a little bit, and I let them have their way with me, my nursing staff, the other day, and they did a whole syringe, and I was like, actually, like, oh, I love them. I'm happy.
Is the myth that you can only, if you use half the syringe, you have to throw out the other half? Like you can't save it.
You cannot save it for a long time.
And you have to
I would say
charge.
it'd probably be okay to like hold on to it for like a couple weeks just for them to come back and like refresh. But after that, no, we're not.
Do you just like save it in the fridge with their name on it, or how would you do that?
Yes.
And because they have to pay for the full syringe, they don't make a half syringe.
No, they don't make half
I wonder
syringes.
why? You would think nowadays,
Because it's only, like I said, it's a half a teaspoon.
Yeah.
1/4 to half a teaspoon, one of those things. I don't know. I might
You
be
call
tired.
them
It
and
might
say,
be 1/4 a teaspoon.
Hey, it's going to expire in a week. You better come in or what?
No. I mean, it's really based on the person. Maybe they only needed half the syringe, but we still have the cost of the product. So
Where do you see the future of Botox and Juvo, and what's next on the market? I know they're doing threading, and if you want to describe that to people.
Threading is an interesting animal. We got involved in that for like a short period of time. I don't have anything against them. But again, it really comes back to like who's doing your threads. And those are way more invasive than doing dermal fillers and Botox.
That same girl who did her lips does threading to people.
Explain to David
that's so scary.
Explain to David what threading is, because I don't think he knows.
Throw that anchor and pull it up.
So it's like I forget the medical term, but it's basically these threads that like once they dissolve, they create like collagen wherever they were placed. I've had them done. You're going in like the hairline and you're coming down, and the threads have anchors on them. So they literally like, you're like pulling up.
They hook on your skin and just lift.
Stick a syringe?
Inside.
You stick a syringe in
It's
or
like
something?
a surgical procedure. Like
It's like a mini facelift.
It is. That only lasts like 9 months to a year.
Because it just
pretty good,
dissolves
though.
in your body.
Yes. So, I mean, for somebody that's like looking for like a more natural approach, and if you have somebody good, there you go.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're all like, I need everything natural.
I'm going to go to
just, like,
David.
looking over at you.
David, stick some threads in my face.
Stuff
But
by
they take a
Band-Aids.
needle, right? Don't they take a needle and go in and
Yes.
like pull it? It's in this hole in your face.
Sounds like a horror
Okay,
film.
but I would say things that I do love is like you can do like a mini nose job on somebody.
You anchor their
And,
nose
like,
and lift it up?
Yeah, like
Make
you
'em-
just like inject lidocaine and then you like inject like
A thread? You can
threads.
thread somebody's nose up?
Yeah, and because the anchors, it'll like shorten their nose, and you can raise the tip, and it
Make
like
it
can look so cute.
look a little Michael
and
Jackson-y.
like narrow it. No, it looks way more natural because it's not a nose job. It's like it's your nose.
And then does it
Well,
slowly
you've just contoured it just slightly.
Does it slowly fall over time?
No, because the
Back to normal?
because you're building collagen.
What's that collagen? What is it? Like animal collagen? Is it beef?
Sculptra is polylactic acid. So that's like also like a great alternative to dermal fillers, because wherever it's injected, you'll build collagen there, and then, you know, it'll stay for a considerable amount of time. I want to say it stays for like maybe 18 months.
It's pretty impressive. It's more expensive, I'm sure, because it lasts longer. It's more invasive. And
It lasts between 2 and 5 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Sculptra is like, I love it. It's an impressive product. And there's only like one company that makes it. So it is definitely expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So future of this.
I think like the industry is leaning more towards things like Sculptra and some of the services we were discussing before we got on here, just because, like, you know, these companies have said the dermal fillers last, you know, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. Well, now that it's been around long enough, people that have passed away, you know, they're looking at their, you know, cadavers, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Is still there. So to a degree, I think that filler migrates. I think it moves around because it only makes sense. I don't think it always dissolves the way that these big pharmaceutical companies said that it did. So I feel like people are leaning more towards natural therapies. Now, as somebody who has gotten all of these things done, I've done dermal fillers probably for the past like nine years. Nope, that's not true. It's like more like 20. No, I'm like.
Two from 9 years to 20 years. It's a big jump.
So like,
No, I'm like, how long has it been? I'm like 2012, I think was the
11,
first thing.
12 years almost. Yeah.
So as somebody who's gotten these procedures done, I personally lean towards doing alternative therapies. Like I'll touch up like a little tiny bit here and there, but I think it's just knowing when you need to do what. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of women start relying on dermal fillers and not doing the other things that they should be doing.
Such as what?
Correcting sun damage, doing more that will help stimulate collagen naturally, increase your skin elasticity. And we all have like wonderful procedures that do these things. And to me, when I have a new client, I feel like my job is to educate them to think not dermal fillers and Botox first, but to think, let's do microneedling. Let's get you on a healthy skincare regimen. Let's do photofacials. Because once you do those things, your body starts reproducing all the things that it needs. And now we'll go in and let's complement it with a little filler.
That's actually a good advice.
And Botox and things like that.
That's what people wish that doctors would do. Instead of take a pill, it's, hey, what's your diet like? How do we change your lifestyle?
Which I'm a big component of wellness. You know, I love helping teach people ways that they can feel better. So, you know, to me, that's included in beauty. And, you know, as I was showing you before, like I have 3 generations, right? I have my grandmother, my mom, and then myself. And we all took and take great care of ourselves. And because I've been able to see that, like I try to teach other people that. You know, people go, oh, you have such great genetics. I'm like, you should see my other family members.
Can I tell you something that you'll probably, when we get out of here, you're like, that's never happening again. David does not wash his face.
Oh, okay.
And I use a Dove soap bar.
I wash my face.
Okay.
You don't really wash your face.
Girl, wash your face.
Yeah, but you don't wash your face. Like we barely do. And
I don't do a skincare regimen. My entire life I just use water on my face.
Water.
Shower.
Okay.
You're right. You wash your
Wipe my
face with
face.
water. My bad. I'm sorry. I should have clarified. And a Dove
You
soap
make
bar.
it sound like I avoid the water from touching my face.
I didn't say water. I said you don't wash your face.
Water.
You also don't wash your legs.
Have you seen the way a guy
interesting.
showers? There's
interesting.
3 spots. It's 1, 2, and 3.
I learned this.
Those are the
Water will get the rest, right?
Rachel,
Those are your spots.
This is the thing. It's not just
Do I
his.
ever smell?
I feel close to you.
Rachel, I swear to God, if
Do I
you start
ever smell?
asking your guy friends, like this is I guess I didn't know, but guys don't wash their legs in the shower. Most guys don't wash
I
their
feel
legs.
like I'm gonna like pay more attention to this now.
She's gonna be like, I
I've
don't
got
wash my
questions for
Yeah.
someone as soon as we get done today.
Right? So
There's only actually so much detail that I want.
We can
and
go.
sometimes the soap
deep.
bar gets stuck in his butt crack. We'll just
Okay.
Right. And when
I
she
mean-
asks for it, I just, boop. She catches it.
I'm like, where's the soap? Gotta find it.
Now we're just lying.
Are we? Are we?
I mean, as far as like just using water on your face and everything, I feel like people will share, you know, things like what you all just shared with me. And I would just say that's awesome. And I'm glad that you have come this far with that regimen.
You don't come this far just to come this
The
far.
soap bar
Rachel.
that's in his butt crack.
But
I used to wash my face.
But then I would just say, what's your long term goal? You know, what's your long term goal? Because you can keep doing it, but like eventually, it will show up. It will show up.
I'm coming to St. Louis.
Yeah, it will show up. So I mean, we have, you know, obviously like excellent skincare that we carry, but everything we carry is like with purpose. It's not just to sell something.
I love that. You're
So,
intentional with what you
yes.
have.
Yeah, I intentionally wash my face
And I don't
with
have
water.
like, I believe you. I believe you. And
Oh,
it's
we
not,
all believe you.
And you have a nice face. You have
you.
a nice face.
He does.
See, when I wash my face with water, I do it with purpose.
David,
and
how
on
old
purpose.
are you?
33.
Okay. Well, when you get to St. Louis, I'm going to do a Visia skin analysis on you.
Visia.
What does that look like? And don't make him look too much younger than I am because he's already younger than I am. Me first.
Okay. Are you really 33?
No.
Okay. Wow.
I'm going to be 40.
Oh, you look fabulous.
I stole this little baby
Because she took all my face soap.
because he looked older.
You're so funny.
Well, hello, welcome back.
So
hello.
I guess my
What
question.
is this?
It's out of the phone.
It's right in her shot.
No, it's not.
You don't see, not that, but I'm saying all of it. You want to talk about what you just put on the table? You leave to go to the bathroom and you come back with a
Smorgasbord.
ice and lemon. You make when life gives you lemons,
You make vodka soda.
you make a vodka water.
So tell me
The-
about perks.
PRX Derm Perfection. I was just really impressed with this product, which is why we decided to bring it on. But having been in this industry for such a long time, I mean, love chemical peels. I look at them like they're like a, you know, just kind of part of those foundational things that we do just to like refresh the skin and that sort of thing. Part of any rejuvenation or anti-aging regimen. But this particular peel, I was just so impressed with it because there's no real downtime with it. I mean, you can like do it prior to going to an event, but it lifts and tightens the skin. It contours you and you can actually use it around your eyes. That part really was amazing to me. And the way that it's designed, you can do them like once every 7 days. So, and that's actually the recommended protocol is doing them once a week. But I left last Thursday. I had an event on Sunday. My face was so tight and so sculpted. I was so excited. I mean, we have like different procedures that will lift and tighten your face and contour it, but not a product like that. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. My whole staff is excited. I feel like, and it's safe for all skin types, which I love that because chemical peels, normally when you start getting into some of the stronger chemical peels for people who have like darker skin tones, you have to, you know, steer clear. But with this, you can do it on anyone. And I love that so much.
Any long-term side effects or anything of people with those peels? Or?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that was another reason why I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it.
I can't wait to come in and get stuff done.
If
Natural
I could
stuff,
have,
natural
if I
stuff.
could have, I would have brought it with me. You have to keep
Yeah.
it on ice.
You could put it in a Ziploc
But-
bag and just carry it.
That's right. She'll take it from anybody. You can
I'm not
bring
taking any chances with TSA confiscating my
Do you have clients?
stuff.
Do you have clients or patients that come in that have been botched from other places that you have to fix?
Yes. It fortunately doesn't happen too often. It mostly would happen with my mom having people come in that like have botched like permanent makeup or something like that. But I would say that would be more along the lines of botched. I think probably if somebody has any botched work, maybe their first go-to is to just like run to like a plastic surgeon or something. And then they'll pay those plastic surgeon prices.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why aren't you doing that in the first place? But anyway,
Right.
True.
you know.
Well, people wait to spend the real amount of money until they fuck up everything
Right.
first.
When
Which
it's
we know
like-
people in other industries in permanent makeup where it's like, like we said earlier, they go the cheap route.
Yeah.
Then they regret it. Then they now have to pay double to laser it off. And now whatever, they pay
Yeah.
triple for the real good stuff.
So my mom, she's medically board certified as a permanent makeup artist. There are not many people that are medically board certified. And the qualification because of that is much higher. And so her prices are high. And so, people will be like, well, how much is it? It's expensive. And you can go down to someone else who isn't.
Yeah, good luck.
We've worked with permanent makeup artists.
Okay. Yeah.
It is important that you go to somebody
Yes.
who knows. Anytime that word permanent is on something, pay for it.
Yes.
Pay
Well, how
the
about
price.
this? How many times has someone tried to price haggle you when you give them a price?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, but how about
All
it's
the
like,
time.
You don't go to a restaurant and it's like, I'll take the cheeseburger, $27.
Right.
Would you take 12? It's like, what?
Yeah.
Go to Burger King. What are you doing here?
Or your doctor doing
I
your
just
surgery.
think that
Yeah.
I think it comes back to like the oversaturation of the industry
Sure.
and that standards need to be raised. And I really do hope that they are in the future. The state of Missouri is pretty lax.
Yeah.
So, I thought Florida had higher standards, so I was kind of surprised, but
Standards-
apparently not.
Florida's more the Wild West where
Yeah.
Really?
you can go get the best of the
I've
best.
always wanted to live here, and I didn't come because I was like, oh, it's so much stricter.
No,
It'd be harder
Well,
for me to
maybe-
establish.
Well, you're doing it legit.
yeah,
There are
I do
people-
everything legit.
Yeah, I go to people
There's
who
going to
don't.
be bureaucratic red tape to get across anything.
Yeah.
Florida, I think, has the best of the best, but it's also the Wild West.
Mm.
That's why people will get a boob job from the best doctor there is, but then also get it in the Colombian streets somewhere.
Well, we have.
You know.
We
Oh,
have
that's so
friends.
scary.
I'll let you tell the
No,
story.
you tell the story because I have no idea what you're about to talk about.
Yeah, you do.
Well, you go ahead.
Let's
and tell
change the
it.
subject while we're ahead of it.
Why are we going to change the subject to warn other people not to go out of the country to have?
No, it was actually in Miami. Somebody
Well, this person.
Who
might
was
want-
it?
went
Who
in
was
for a
it?
mommy makeover.
Oh, who was it?
Well, a good friend of ours, sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the grandparents are raising the kid now, and he's like 10 or 11 probably
That is
now.
so sad. That's so
Yeah,
heavy.
It's so sad.
Look,
Okay.
Kanye West. It happens. These things happen. There are.
And it's like, obviously, I think anytime you do a surgical procedure, it's like you are taking
sure.
a
Come on,
risk.
Blue, down.
But I
Sit.
do think that like people shopping for deals. Like when I go to Miami and I see all these like crazy looking Brazilian butt lifts going on.
Not even butt lifts.
They look like,
It's like-
they look like somebody threw rocks in their ass. Like they're like going like this. Like
And the rocks are 12 pounds each.
They look like what's that cartoon that we were just talking about
Hey,
with the mom,
chill.
the superhero family. What's that superhero?
You did this.
He'll chill in a second. What's the not the Avengers? What's the superhero
The
family?
Incredibles?
The Incredibles.
Yeah, why do they make the mom so hot?
She's hot.
Hi. I know. It was terrible. You were stuck out in the hall.
So to
so
go back
tight.
on this, don't chase the deal.
Don't
Do
chase
your
the deal.
research.
Do
I think
your
we went over this,
research.
but
I always tell people that yes, this industry is expensive. It is truly an investment. You are investing in yourself. But I also always tell ladies, listen, it will cost you one way or the other. It's either going to cost you because you're financially investing in yourself, or it's going to cost you because you didn't. And what that looks like is different for everyone. Some people have a higher expectation of what they think that should look like. I'm not saying that any expectation is really wrong. There's some people that just want to age, gracefully, naturally. I don't believe in that, but I support them. I support you, Stefani.
Well, I'm obviously going to get some.
I'm talking about the ladies that don't want to do a doggone thing.
Yeah.
They don't want to do anything, and they're looking at you and they have so much sun damage and they have so many wrinkles and they're like, I'm okay with this. And I'm like, who are you lying to?
they sound like this with their third cigarette.
They're like, I only ever wash my face with water.
That's my kind of girl.
That's why you married me.
Be like, and that's how I look this way, and I look damn good.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
You
love
know?
a good
Yeah.
woman named
I mean, when
Bertha.
people tell me things like that, I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
That's right.
I'm gonna let Peter have a conversation with you.
Bring
Maybe
him
I'll
in.
get people.
We would have the best conversation ever.
But you also offer financing, which
Yes.
a lot of is that normal for med spas? Is that something that
Yeah, I mean, I think it's becoming more the norm with this economy that we're in right now. But yeah, we have easy payment options. We want to make it convenient and easy for people to invest in themselves because, You know, it's emotional to look in the mirror and not like what you see, right? I mean, it truly is. So, you know, and we do a wide range of services. You know, I was talking to you all about like laser hair removal. I mean, for some people that suffer like with PCOS, you know, it's a polycystic ovary syndrome. And it causes you to have an abnormal growth of hair, dark hair on your face. So like some of these women are like, they have beards. I have a lot of compassion for women that are suffering from PCOS. But like that would be like a good example why like an easy payment option is good for somebody who's suffering like that. Now, or how about ingrown hairs are uncomfortable and can also cause infection and things of that nature. So we have easy payment plan options to make these things affordable. But I always tell clients, like, start where you are comfortable. You know, we'll draw an entire plan for you and just start with what's going to be good for you. There's no pressure. I tell my staff all the time, we do not pressure people. I will never do high pressure sales. I don't know.
So if
I don't vibe with that at all.
So if somebody's questioning coming in or what to do you recommend coming in, talking to you and getting kind of a consultation of where to go from there?
So especially when it comes to rejuvenation, I mentioned the Visia earlier. So the Visia is like an amazing device. You come in and we do like deep scans of your skin. So we're going to see all that sun damage, things that haven't shown up and come out yet. I'm going to get that water washed face.
For a 63-year-old, I look pretty good, huh?
There's financial plans.
Peter tells everybody he's 45 and they're like, oh my God, no. He gets him when he says he's 50. They're like, stop it.
He's amazing.
He is fun.
He's like,
and then he tells the truth. But anyway, it's a good shock factor in the beginning. But
if I worked somewhere like that, I would tell everyone I was 50 also. Be like, yeah, can you believe it? This place is great.
I just use water.
I use water and her Botox. It's just,
it's amazing. And they'd be like, what is your recipe? Okay. But so we'd start with a Visia session. That way we can actually go back and track your progress, right? So if you're doing rejuvenation processes, we're going to be able to take pictures in 6 months to a year, you know, and be able to show you. And I usually do tell clients that, like, give us a year, preferably 2, to go through these processes, because you can take 10, 15 years off of somebody's face without ever doing dermal fillers or Botox.
Great.
I mean, I love dermal fillers? Yes. You can go in, you can lift and contour somebody's face in a very beautiful way, and it is instant. And if you've got the right person doing it, it is so lovely. They'll feel like they're looking at themselves like 5-10 years ago. And I feel like that's a wonderful thing to do for somebody. It's emotional. A lot of women cry. Aww, you know, because
so awesome.
You know, because we live in this society today that set the standard of how we're supposed to look.
Yeah.
Like what was hot in like 1992 is not hot now. Do you ever like watch those movies in like the 80s and the 90s?
Yes, they're awful.
Do you look
Jamie
at people's
Lee
teeth?
Curtis is now Kim Kardashian.
They're awful. Do you think that the beauty industry is addictive? Like, do women come in and then find themselves getting too far down the rabbit hole, and you're like, okay, where do you stop messing with your face?
I have encountered those people through the years, but like I told you before, like we aren't scared to say no.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go someplace else. So you know, and I think it's always like, you know, being honest and truthful on whether or not, you know, a patient is a good fit for your practice and whether or not you're a good fit for them. Yeah. But that really does come with honesty and efficacy of like not just being willing to make like a fast buck, right? Like you're actually being a professional in what you do and having integrity in what you do, which I wouldn't say the world has a whole lot of that these days, but it's really important. So as far as like people that like want to go overboard, once we start saying no, you know, they don't like it, so they're probably not going to stay with us, and that's okay.
Talk to me about that, though.
What?
Talk to me about red flag clients.
You want to hear about some red flag clients? This is usually backroom talk. I've had crazy things happen over the years. I have like a policy for every single one of them. People will read I have a sexual harassment policy for a man who got extremely inappropriate with one of our staff back in 2015. He like dropped his pants like with one. And she didn't tell me. That was so crazy. I found out because I was going through files and checking files, and I'm reading through this file, and this file starts describing this horrible situation she'd been in. And so,
Oh my
and she was out of town. I called her. She was in New York, and I was like, "Hey, what happened?" And she was like, "Well, I did this laser hair removal session on this guy's back, and he dropped his pants and got kind of, yeah."
How does that even happen?
So I called him.
Were you like, back off?
You're
I
like,
called him.
hey, just read a little file here.
I did. And I was just like, hey, like I was reading through this file and I came across, this thing. But before I could finish, he started getting aggressive with me on the phone and like threatening me. And I just saw red and
Busted.
told him what I was going to do to him. And
Good for you.
I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm never going to hear or see from you again. I'm not giving you a refund. If I hear anything from you, I'm calling the police. And I said, and I guarantee you they would take her word over yours. Today, I would just call the police. I think I hadn't been faced with like a situation like that before.
As we have more experiences, our liability and our paperwork and our policies continue to change. We evolve with the times.
Yes.
Where you were in 2012 and where you are now, I'm sure it's completely different in
Very.
your policy.
Yes, very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Are there any struggles that you run into as a business owner, as a woman, or any things that you find that you have an advantage of being a woman as a business owner?
I feel that being a woman in business has been challenging, and it's kind of shocking to me. But there have been many times that I dealt with like different companies that we had, purchased equipment from and run into situations where, people weren't forthright and honest. I've run into that quite a bit in our industry. And I felt like I was definitely treated differently because I'm a woman. And really it bothers me to a degree because I really enjoy living in my feminine energy. I feel like I thrive and I'm probably the best to be around when I'm in that feminine energy. And I feel like men sometimes like force you to like go into the masculine, and it's like, why'd you do this? You're gonna make me go here.
Yeah.
We can go. We go together.
Yeah.
Don't make me go here.
And it doesn't feel good.
Pretty much.
Because
No.
really, I mean, you can.
It's not natural.
Do you feel that the power is in the feminine, and when you step into the masculine energy, you're like, "Ugh, I'm going backwards"?
I mean, I definitely feel like there's some power in the masculine. I'm not gonna lie.
For
Yeah.
the testosterone come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely some power there. But I just feel like it's just we are supposed to be able to just enjoy and embrace being these beautiful, powerful, feminine women. I align more with like traditional aspects and values, and completely cheer any woman on for owning a business and for just being a boss. But yeah, I have definitely come across, I mean, I've even, in some situations felt like I had to outsource where I had to find a man to represent me, which would make me so angry because it's like, you and I should be able to have this conversation. I shouldn't have to feel like I've got to get a guy in here to speak for me. So I feel like that's been a challenge.
Yeah.
But
The name of our podcast is called Shifting Focus.
I see that. Yeah.
And the reason why we did that is that we feel that there's a point in your life where you've had to shift. Everybody has one, especially in business.
That pivotal moment.
That moment where you were on the path to do this, and all of a sudden your life split, and you were like, I can take this path or I can take this path. Where were you at that point where you took the path maybe you didn't want to that led you to where you are right now, and you're like, oh my God, this is why I'm supposed to be here. This is why I took that path. That was uncomfortable.
I mean, I guess just being in the business that I'm in, I did not get involved in this business because it was my dream. I did it because it was my family. And I feel like, and sometimes we get to choose our family, right? Like sometimes we find out we have people we're related to that aren't our family, but I am blessed to have really wonderful parents. And so I felt like my mom really needed me. I thought it was temporary, but it wasn't.
So talk about that. What brought you to her to work with her?
My mom is just amazing at what she does, in her field of practice. But as far as like with employees, my mom is just like such a sweet, tender soul. And she's non-confrontational, and she's just like kindness and love, which doesn't always make the best combination for a business owner. And so like I found people like stealing from her, people were taking advantage of her. So it was more like a protective instinct to like step in and start helping her. Especially when I found like the stealing component, and, you know, I started like cleaning house and started reorganize and implementing new things and practices just to safeguard her initially. And then it's just like, when you own a business, it's like, it never stops. Like when people are like, oh, I want to own my own business, or I want to start this, you know, I would just tell you to like take a lot of time to consider what you're saying. There's just a heavy amount of responsibility that comes with owning a company, you know, and you guys know, it can kind of be like that machine that like just never stops, you know, and sometimes you want to turn it off, but you can't.
No days off. You can't. You just
can't.
You mentally cannot.
You can't.
Yeah, people are like, I want to own my own business, so I'm flexible hours. It's like the hours are 24/7.
You don't.
They're flexible in terms of, are you working at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. to start? When are you starting?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Our date nights are business meetings. We go out. It's hard not to talk about business.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do you shift that?
So I'm glad you said that, because I really do try to make an effort to do things with my mom that are not business connected. People would be like, oh, it's so great you work with your mom, you're like with her all the time. And it's like, yeah, but when it's all about business, it's almost like you're not really fully being with that person.
Very true.
You're no longer mom daughter. Now you're business partners.
Right.
And how do you adjust that relationship when you need it?
I like to adjust it as it needs to be adjusted, because she's important and special to me, you know? So it's like, I want us to have those mother-daughter memories that are not business memories. So, you know, and time is precious and valuable. So
When she gives you advice as a mom in the business, are you like, Mom, nah? You know, is it hard to be like, you're wrong, Mom, shut up?
I mean, there's sometimes a little bit of that
Does
component.
she push back, or is she like, I'm being your
No,
mom,
I
not
mean,
your
for the
daughter?
most part, she's just like really sweet, or like I'll hurt her feelings, and I'm like, really sorry. You know, I didn't mean to do that.
It's a common theme with mothers and daughters.
Oh God, it's the guilt. I think the mother-daughter guilt thing, that component is so challenging to navigate.
Yeah.
You know, I love my mom. I love her more than, she's my best friend.
Yeah.
And she just had this horrible accident. I
know,
shouldn't
I'm
talk
so
about it. I'll
sorry.
get emotional. But it was awful.
It's hard to talk about your mom and not get emotional.
Yes.
Even if you're like not talking about a tragedy.
Yes.
Or, you know, something like with what you've just been through. It's
There's
just,
so many layers. And
yeah, it's
I
like
love my mom
it's the
too.
deepest relationship, right? I mean, I feel like
Love you, Mom.
for guys, it's deep. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing like your mom.
No.
You know, not a good mama.
And his mom, he has a great mother. Oh my God. His mom is just the best. My mom is too. But like you're saying, mother-daughter relationships and mother-son relationships are just very different.
Very different. It's a
we learn.
solid bond. Yeah.
And
And if you don't have that, it'll like
Yeah.
mess up your life.
You're constantly learning from your mom. It's the biggest life lesson you'll ever go through.
Yeah.
Because you see yourself, and you have to see the future version of yourself. No matter what, we turn into our moms in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
We can find out how we want to be better versions, but we can also do you find yourself picking up patterns from your mom, and you're like, "Ah, I'm her."
I feel like my mom is such a kind and loving and forgiving person. Like, I mean, she just like loves people like in the most pure way. And I see that like as her strength. And so I really like try to draw from her on that, because I'm different. Like I'm quick, like I'll kind of judge a situation. I'll be quick to be like, nope, you don't work. I'm not going to deal with this person anymore. My mom will give more chances than I think she should. And so like there's many times I've been critical of that, but then I look back and I'm like, that's a strength.
Have you ever heard that theory that what you see in others is a reflection of yourself?
No, I have not heard that.
I wonder if you recognize that in your mom, because maybe that really is a part of you.
Maybe.
Because you give a lot of chances. And the way I
Yeah.
see you is a kind, loving,
Aw, thank you.
forgiving, incredibly powerful, compassionate human being.
Thank you.
Rachel. And that's why it's really an honor to be your friend.
Aw, thank you.
And so I think what you're seeing in your mom is really who you are. And it's hard to see that. Maybe you feel like you have to portray this boss because you just are. You're in that space.
You do have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's and I would say, you know, it's not a bad thing, but you know, you were talking about shifting. But it's like when you own a business and you have employees and everything, you do have to
Yes.
You have to have, kind of two sides to you. You've got to be tender and loving, but you've also got to be ready to be like, hey, like
Chopping block.
yeah, like
You're not a good fit.
you're not a good fit. You're not working out. So I get to be like that muscle of everything. And my mom's like tender and sweet. So.
But maybe she was the chopping block before you came on.
No.
In some way. No.
She got there and there was 75 employees. And you're like, Mom, have you not gotten rid of anybody since
she
2000?
was like, but she was like, she avoids confrontation. No,
She
that
needed you.
Yes, she did.
You're strong.
Yeah.
She's strong and you're strong and you're just you're strong in different areas.
And that was like more or less my point is like, I view her and how she is as those are her strengths and that we get to complement each other in that regard.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there's many times she's like practically thrown her body over Peter. Like, no, I love him.
You're trying to tell him he did this wrong. She's like, no, he didn't. He's perfect.
No, it was like, I was like, he's got to go. He's done. And she was like, she's like,
to fire him.
no, I love him so much.
Have you ever fired Peter?
I mean, I've been close twice and she like saved him. She saved his ass and he knows it too.
Okay, for people who don't know who Peter is, talk to us about who Peter is.
Peter is our director of operations and he just celebrated 5 years of being with us. And there's nobody like Peter. I mean, Peter's just like an amazing person. He has such a fan club. There's so many women that wish Peter wasn't gay.
How many times have you fired him?
I haven't because my mom's protected him every time.
How many attempted firings have there been?
2 serious ones.
And Mom says, don't you
She
dare.
was like,
She lays her body
He's
over
like
him.
my son. I love him so much. And I don't know what I'd do without him, to be completely honest with you. I feel like he's more of a partner at this point than, an employee. But
Don't tell him that.
He'll hear it.
He's going to be like, I listened. I'm ready for my 50% ownership.
right.
I brought the contracts. Welcome back from Florida.
Yeah.
You have a new app that you just launched, too.
I do.
I'd
I'm
love for you to talk
so
about it.
excited about this app. I am so excited about it. It's really like a new direction for our company and our team. And it really was just, something that came from wanting to build a platform where we could gather our audience. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, everybody does, I haven't even really touched TikTok. I'm behind in that regard. Like I haven't kept up on the social media
You're on Snapchat.
process. But this app is so cool because it allows us to have like a place that is our own that people can, get exclusive promotions. They earn rewards. So every time they come in, they're going to scan like a special QR code at our front desk. They get a reward every time they do that. Or they're earning towards their rewards. It allows our patients to actually shop our entire store online. So, it's midnight, there's something you were interested in, you can go in and read about it. If you decide to purchase it there, you can. But then we also introduce memberships, and I'm so excited about that. So, occasionally from time to time, we would offer, special pricing, special deals per se. And I just decided that if we were going to give like special pricing, like that pricing is going towards our members. So while we'll still have promotions available, it's like if you're being loyal to us, we're going to be loyal to you, and we're going to pass on like the best pricing to you because you're supporting our company and you're supporting a small business and you're helping support these jobs that we've given to people. And so I'm really excited about that. Like the memberships range anywhere from like $20 to $300. We have something called a beauty bank where they can bank $100 a month or $500 a month. So we have that as part of it as well. And then we have like a new easy payment option on there, which is cool, where you can get up to 36 months to pay for something.
Wow, it's amazing.
Which like today, when things are so expensive. I was at the airport yesterday. I went to get like soda, water,
$74.
got some M&Ms.
You have to finance the M&Ms. How
It
much
was-
were your M&Ms? Because I got M&Ms too.
It was
You got the
outrageous.
you
It
got
doesn't matter. I'm curious. How much were your
the
M&Ms?
party size.
I knew I was coming home to you who liked M&Ms too, so I thought about you.
She was dragging it in. She goes, I got M&Ms. Hold on.
Wait,
they're coming."
go ahead. How much were your M&Ms? Do you know?
I think it was like close to $15.
For just the M&Ms.
Yeah.
Is this Bidenomics?
Bidenomics.
It is.
Bidenomics.
It's Bidenomics.
It's whatever it is. It's not fun.
It's ridiculous.
How
is
do
what it
people
is.
survive? I don't get how people in businesses.
I feel
don't know how
like
businesses
almost every
survive.
person I'm talking to is telling me they're like pretty much living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden we've all been burdened with these like heavy pricing, like in every aspect. But, you know, I want to say though that my bill was like $49 and some change for
like 3 or 4 items.
a water, a Sprite,
And M&Ms.
M&Ms, and I did get some Pringles.
Yeah, but that's insane.
Out of all these amazing things that you're doing, there's probably a few others in St. Louis, Missouri. There's a lot of places. Why do people go to you instead of them?
Sure. I mean, obviously it's someone's preference, but I think a lot of people enjoy doing business with us because they understand they're supporting a local business. They're supporting a family-owned business. So it kind of goes back to like the heart of everything, opposed to us just being like a corporation. Like there are these corporations that do the exact same services that we do, but they're not doing it with like that personal caring touch, because everything's very like strict and structured and corporate, where we're just not that. We're like a sweet, small family. Like our staff is just really wonderful. Everybody's very caring and everybody puts just a lot of effort into making sure that we take excellent care of people. So, you know, I know that I talked about it before, but like we're just so big on relationship building. And I don't think you find that at a lot of places. I don't know. Have you ever gone into like a medical spa or a plastic surgeon's office and it just feels so like
Stiff.
yes.
Yeah.
And,
It's the next
and
number.
pretentious.
And you feel like you're in a hospital. I don't want to go to a hospital.
For corporate, you know, like especially with like injections and things like that, in those corporate settings, I mean, their training is so like, like it is so cookie cutter. So, you know, coming to a place like ours, it's going to be, you know, a lot more personalized and structured. But I've gone to like plastic surgeons' offices where I would walk in, they would check me in, they put me in a room. Somebody walks in the room, goes, "What do you want to do today?" And I tell them what I want to do. And they're like, "Okay, great." And then somebody else goes and grabs all the product. The nurse walks in and she's with me for like 10 minutes. Boop, boop, boop. Done. Here's your massive bill. We're going to spend time with you. We're going to listen to you. You know, like the average Botox Jeuveau appointment is going to be 30 minutes. You know, we're not here to get you in and out the door. We're here to listen and talk to you. So that's where I feel like the difference comes in. I've gone into, you know, just different offices where there's just like, you know, a really beautiful woman behind the front desk and she's cold, you know, and she's not
That's the worst.
loving and inviting. And when you walk into our office, like we smile and greet you. We're happy to see you. We're excited for you to come back again.
Everybody's skin looks great.
Everybody's skin looks great, you know, so we just put a lot of care. So people usually come to us first and foremost for laser hair removal. That's what we're most known for. We have the best lasers in the industry. We have lasers that are safe for all skin types. And so that gives us an opportunity to really establish relationships with people. And then, you know, we have a lot of other amazing services like Botox, like dermal injections, like our rejuvenation services, like our wellness services. But yeah, so, you know, it all starts typically with laser hair removal, but you're coming in every 5 weeks and you typically are doing 10 sessions on one area. So that's a lot of time for us to get to spend with people building that relationship. And we enjoy that process. We love
trust.
it.
I'm sure you're building trust with
yes,
people.
We've served over 10,000 people. I'm pretty sure we're close to 15,000 people at this point in time. So it's like with all those wonderful people under our belt, all those relationships are very solid and very important. So why would people come to us? Come to us if you don't want to be a number, you know, come to us if you want to be a name, you know, want to be valued. So that's why I think you should come to Laser Me. I mean, when you do business with us, it is like you're our family. I have women come in and they're like, your mom did my eyeliner 15 years ago. And it looks good still. It still looks good.
That was my grandma.
That was your grandmother?
That's my grandma.
Since we discussed how old you are today.
She did get, didn't she get her eyeliner tattooed on?
I think she did.
See, told you it was my grandma.
I mean, it's so beneficial to have your eyeliner tattooed.
Hello.
I mean,
Until the style changes,
no,
right?
No, because somebody who's done it with efficacy is going to give you eyeliner that's just going to accentuate your eyes. You go to some crazy tattoo artist, they're going to start throwing wings on there and different things.
Yeah.
But like somebody who is integral in their work is going to know that, hey, you know, what goes up must come down, and things are going to migrate, and then you're going to end up with some tattoo removal issues in the future. But if you have somebody that's good, no, it's just going to, people will just think your eyes look really pretty. Like their first thought won't even be to think, oh, she's got tattooed eyeliner. Like nobody thinks that. Not if it's done right.
I'm so excited for you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm excited for the direction of Laser Me, and I know that you guys you've got this new app going, and you guys have really invested a lot back into the business so that your patients and your clients can really reap the benefits of what you guys are doing. And it's going to be awesome. Like next year, this year even is going to be huge, but next year, I think St. Louis needs to buckle up because
thank you for saying that, man. Thank you. Like our goal is really to be like a St. Louis name and brand. Like we want to represent our city and our state well, and we want to give back to our community. We want to invest in our community, and so that really does come from like what we were talking about earlier, just like being successful so that we can accomplish all of those things. Because I think it's our duty to not just be a part of the community as a business, but to also give back to our community, to be a part of it. So, and I love community. I believe in it strongly.
That's how you build the community.
And you do a great job educating people.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Because I didn't even know about these services were available. I thought, oh, I'm not doing Botox, I'm screwed. But there are options for people who don't want botulism.
Many options. Botox is not the answer. Yeah. I want everybody to know that. That is not your ultimate answer.
But it is an option.
It's an option.
Yeah. But like you said, it should be
your ultimate answer.
It could be secondary. So
there are alternative solutions.
Yes, absolutely. I've loved doing this with you all. This is so fun.
Yeah, you did great.
Oh, thanks.
You're very well spoken. And
Missouri, St. Louis, anybody in the area that wants to fly in and get it done right, tell them where they could find you on the internet, phone, location.
They can find me in the Show Me State. Show me 7, I'll show you 8.
Am I crooked letter?
Yeah. You can find me in St. Louis, Missouri. You can locate us on our website, www.lasermestl.com. You can find us at lasermestl on Instagram as well as Facebook. And hopefully we'll get our TikTok up and running. I do have a TikTok at lasermestl. We're working on getting up and running on there, but that's where you can find us. And we would love to meet you and see you and make you part of our little Laser Me family. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. You heard it here. Laser Me STL everywhere.
Hi. See you guys.